Started with a text. Just a few words, almost casual, but they landed like a punch. Flight leaves at 6 a.m. Don't wait up. Work trip. The 7th one this year. 7. Each one of them had been essential. Conferences, client meetings, networking events. Each time I swallowed my unease, forced a smile, told her to go, told myself I was overthinking it. But something in that message made my chest tighten like a vice. I stared at my phone, thumb hovering over the screen, almost hoping she'd send another text. Something normal, warm, the way she used to. But there was nothing. Just silence. First, I blamed myself. Maybe I was imagining things. Maybe I was too controlling, too suspicious. I told myself that. And for a few days I convinced myself I was overreacting. Then came the little things, the subtle cracks I had ignored. The phone left face down on the kitchen counter, vibrating silently. A quick glance at the screen before she hid it behind her purse. The whispered calls that ended abruptly when I entered the room. A sudden wardrobe upgrade. Perfume I didn't recognize. I told myself it was all paranoia. I wanted it to be. One evening I stayed up longer than usual, pretending to work on emails. That's when I saw it. A notification from a messaging app she thought she had deleted. I froze, stomach twisting. There it was, his name. And not just a casual acquaintance, but messages that made my blood run cold. Dinner plans. Hotel details. Smiley faces. Laughs I would never hear. I read them over and over, each word heavier than the last. My first reaction was disbelief. My second, rage. How could she do this? The third was a hollow emptiness, the kind that eats at your chest and refuses to leave. I tried calling her, but she didn't answer. Not surprising. She was on her work trip. I began replaying our life together, searching for the moment it had cracked. That quiet Tuesday morning when she smiled at her phone instead of me. That weekend she had to work late, but came home smelling like someone else. Every memory I had treasured now felt like a lie wrapped in ordinary moments. I confronted her when she returned, just after midnight. She looked tired, stressed, perfectly believable. But her eyes flicked away when she saw me standing in the doorway. I don't know what you mean, she whispered. The words were weak and the shame, or maybe guilt, hung around her like a scent. I showed her the messages. Every detail, every laugh, every plan. She tried to explain, stammering, apologizing, crying. It wasn't about you, she said at one point. I didn't mean for it to happen. It just did. But I didn't want explanations. I didn't want apologies. I wanted the truth, raw and undeniable. And she gave it. Slowly, painfully, admitting that the trips weren't just for work. That there was someone else. That she had lied more times than she could count. I sat there listening, feeling something fracture inside me that I wasn't sure would ever heal. But as much as the betrayal hurt, I also felt something else, clarity. I realized I had spent months questioning myself, my worth, wondering if I had failed her somehow. But the fault wasn't mine. It had never been mine. The next morning I packed a bag. Not in anger, not in revenge, but in quiet determination. I left a note. Simple, honest, and final. I told her I was leaving, that I couldn't live in a house filled with lies, and that I would rebuild my life without the weight of betrayal pressing down on me. Walking out the door, I felt a strange mix of sorrow and relief. I mourned the life I thought I had, the trust one had given freely. But I also felt a spark of something I hadn't felt in months. Self-respect. The ability to stand tall despite the heartbreak, to claim my own dignity. It wasn't an easy road. Every memory stung. Every street we had walked together felt like a reminder of what I had lost. But I carried forward with a quiet strength, knowing that betrayal could break trust, but it could not break me. And somewhere deep inside, I realized that leaving wasn't just an ending. It was the beginning of reclaiming myself, piece by piece, from the ruins of a love that had turned out to be a lie.